Welcome to the Real Story of Autoimmune Disease Summit. Discover the unspoken cause of autoimmune disease and the impact your emotions have on your healing. I'm your host, Roberta Tati, and today is a pleasure to have here with me, Talia Halberor. Talia is an autoimmune disease reversal coach, a transformational coach, and mindset expert. She was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and through her personal healing journey, she studied the mind-body connection and how to use it to reverse symptoms, heal the body on a cellular level, and achieve the freedom and trust in the body that many people lose after an autoimmune disease diagnosis. Since then, she has been teaching others through coaching, workshops, and her flagship program, the Mind to Body Method, where people learn her unique method and techniques on becoming in charge of their own mind and start using consciously so they can heal their body, reverse symptoms, free themselves from pain, and create the life they truly want to be living. Talia has made it her mission to support people on their healing journey, and she helped countless people in achieve these results. Talia believes that love is the foundation of healing, whether it's emotional healing or physical. It is available to everybody as long as they truly choose it. Hello, Talia, welcome.
Hello, thank you so much for having me here. Thank you for Roberta for doing sharing such an important message. And thank all of you for watching us, for believing in yourselves, believing in your inner power and understanding that you can actually still be the one creating your life, even after such diagnosis. Pleasure.
Wonderful. Sure. I'm very happy that you are here. Thank you. So since you have your own history of autoimmune disease, why don't we start off by you sharing your own story with MS? I think it's so important for the audience to know.
Absolutely. I'd gladly do that. So, I grew up in Israel, and with the conflict going on there and having Israel also being majority of it a religious country, there were a lot of ways of living, thinking, being that I was born into, which in a way is really true about all of us, because any community has its rules and ways, and the right way to do things and the wrong ways to do things. And I developed a lot of inner battles, I would call it, that were against myself or against other people, and a lot of behavioral patterns, thoughts patterns that were really not conducive with having peace within my body, the peace that allows us to be and stay happy and healthy and all the things that everybody truly wants. Whether it was, feeling for the most, it's just so funny for me to say it at this point because I'm such a different person, but having hatred towards other people because I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to leave home today, but they might want to kill me or my family members because we're Jewish. So I better hate them and protect myself so they can't get to me. Or in a pretty young age, when I was 14, I realized I was I'm attracted to women. So growing up in a religious country and knowing that you're supposed to love men if you're a woman, I developed an inner, I can call it hatred. I spent most of my life hating myself, feeling that I'm wrong, feeling that I'm different and different is not okay. Feeling that I should.
That's not easy. And, that's not easy on you emotionally, but also physically. It takes a toll on the body. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It does take a toll on the body. Actually, I remember when I just joined the military in Israel is mandatory. So when I was 18, I joined the military, and I remember that back then, my troubles or issues with my body started showing up like on a next level. Earlier, before, I used to have acne, stuff like that. And today I'm understanding it's all connected, but at the time I had no clue. And then digestive issues showed up when I was 18. First time I'm spending time in the hospital and needing help. Obviously, over time, we started understanding that everything has to do with the lack of harmony between who I am on the inside of my body, the inner environment on my body, and the outside world outside of me, which I believe, and of course we're going to get to this today, I believe is the most important thing to understand, because the moment that I understand that I played a part in where I got, all it really means is that I have the power to play a part in changing it and getting out of that.
That is, I'm going to interrupt. I still want to continue with your story, but this is very important point to call attention to, that we all play a part in what is happening to us. And it's not easy, especially when you have a diagnosis. Some people say, oh, you're blaming me because I'm sick. No, not at all. But what are we doing with ourselves and how we are taking the approach to life? And also, what are we doing with our own body? What are we exposing our body to externally and also internally with our thoughts and emotions? That's all have a part on it. It's very beautiful that you realize that.
Yeah.
But it also gives in your hand the possibility of change. It's much easier than saying it's in the hands of someone else. No, it's in my own. I am doing something. Okay, I'm going to correct it, that what I can. That's very beautiful.
And don't get me wrong. At the time, I did not realize any of this, not even one part of what I shared, besides knowing that I have a lot of negative emotions or stress or fear. But I didn't realize that this plays a part in my level of like the way my body is working, or even the level of happiness or freedom that I'm experiencing. Anyway, long story short, grew up to kind of live this battle, this chase of, I need to be better, I need to make more money, I need to find this person, I need to get married and build a normal home, I need to chase, completely disconnected from my truth within myself. Ended up getting married, and at the time that my marriage was not going well, if you're looking for titles, people like titles. I'm not a fan, but if you're looking for titles, I'm bisexual. I ended up marrying a man. And the time that the marriage started having issues is time that I had what doctors at the time told me is a severe infection of the sinuses. It grew to be me losing my vision in the left eye, which ended up being optic neuritis and the beginning of the way multiple sclerosis had showed up in my body. For me, it was a really big sign that something needs to change. And at a time, funny enough, there is nothing that people normally would want to have that I didn't have in my life. I had an incredible partner, one of the most beautiful human beings God created, or somebody created. And I didn't lack anything. I had literally everything. Everybody around me was jealous. Everybody wants Talia's life. Yet inside there was emptiness, there was lack. And at the time I started realizing that what I truly miss is gratitude. I have it all. I feel like I have nothing. Where is the gap? The gap is the experience, the interpretation that I bring to my life. And I realized that I need to start working on how I feel. I didn't know how, I didn't know what's going on, but I started having little realization that the diagnosis brought with it to my life. From there on, I started my journey in personal development, learning the mind, learning how to transform the mind. And I actually didn't realize how much all of this is connected to the body. I was just following my heart and doing what I felt called to do. When VMS, a few years later, when the MS escalated real fast, and I got to a point that my knees are failing, my ankles are not really listening to me, and most of my body was numb. I needed to use a cane in order to walk. I had to close my business because brain fog took over in severe ways. Chronic fatigue was just miserable. I couldn't drive. Really quick, in a very short amount of time, my life changed.
And I got into a young age, and such a young age. He was very young, still young.
Yeah. I was, when it started, I was 29. So fairly young, and really an age that I should be the one choosing everything and doing whatever I feel like, and having, life just waiting for me to say what I want to do and go ahead and do it. And in one day it all changed. And it was very scary. And I've always been a person that had a lot of dreams and big goals. And I felt like everything is over. I'll never have the life that I want. And I don't remember planning how to end my life. It was a really dark time, a lot of pain. And like many of the people that are listening to us, my doctors said, Talia, there's no way back. You must go on these medications now because it's the only thing that could possibly slow it down, even though it's not going to really help you. It's not going to really heal, but it's the only hope you have. And the sooner you start it, even though it's going to poison your body, the better it will be for you. And I had no knowledge of anything else. And I said yes. And every time I took the meds, I felt awful and I knew something is wrong, but I didn't know any better. So I did it. And I can't explain where it came from. It might sound a little bit weird to some of you, but one day I got this voice talking to me and it said, Talia, your life does not have to look this way. This way was what I had in mind every day, all day long. Wheelchair, life is over. I'm a burden. Everybody needs to take care of me. And it said, it doesn't have to, and I can find the way. And just having this voice gave me the hope I needed to get out of what felt like depression at the time and start finding answers. At that moment, I didn't know how, but I said, I'm going to find a way. I'm going to heal my body. I'm going to create the path for the life I want to be living and not what seems to be like I was given. And I went back to all the practices that I knew that I've learned from my studying about transforming the mind and changing, be the one creating your life.
That decision is very important because that changes, how the universe responds to you, because you're telling the universe, okay, I know this is where I am, but I want something different than, this here. I want something else. And that opened doors, right?
Is exactly why I always tell people, I know you don't know how you're going to get there right now, but set that energy in motion by declaring, focusing, saying what you do want. Allow the universe to work with you. It loves you. Your body is not attacking you because it hates you. It doesn't know any better. It's confused because this is confused. The more clear we get, more aligned with what we want, everything is possible to all of you, just like it was possible for me. And I just needed some time to figure it out.
And that's so important what you're saying, because also a lot of people do not even know what they want. They are so accustomed to be conditioned many times and to be told, you do this, you do that, or that. And they somehow many times lose their own power and their own desires. And wait a minute, I don't know what I want. And so it's very important even to bring this awareness of what do you want? Yeah. Very important.
Funny, I just wrote a post about it this morning for my social media about this. It's an important topic. It's an important topic.
Very important. It's very important.
If you're not clear and if you're not aiming to what you actually do want, rest assured you're not going to get there. This must be point A. Must be. Yeah. Anyway, so I came back to doing my practices, getting aligned with everything that I do want, aligning my mind with it, aligning my emotions with it, aligning my behaviors, my daily ways of being, everything that I do, aiming in the right direction of healing. And guess what happened? One symptom after another started going away. Exactly those things that the doctor said, get used to living with it. Be prepared for it to escalate and get worse over time. Gone, never came back. This is what the human body is capable of. All of you listening to us are no different than me, than Roberta, than any of the people that you listen to on this amazing summit so far.
Yeah, that's very important. So now you talk a lot about the mind and this mind-body connection, but I would like to know, what do you mean by mind? Because, this is a big discussion and topic also. So what do you mean by mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the mind, when you think about the mind, it's kind of funny to talk about because what is it? I like to talk about things that I know. Oh, this cup is next to me. I can touch it. I can see it. It exists. It's right here. But what is the mind? And in my world, the way I see it, the mind is literally everything. While it's nothing at the same time because you can see it and you can't touch it, but it really is what is in charge, what is creating my reality. Why? Because it's the filter between the outside world, outside of me, everything that exists in this planet, to my inner world. Everything that happens outside of me right now is being filtered by my invisible mind And then it's like entering my body in some way with some frequency that is depending of the way I filtered it, the way I interpreted it. So our mind is really the most important part when it comes to my experience in life, to whether or not I'm living in stress or I'm living in fear, whether I'm happy to feeling like I'm in a lack. Do I feel like I get to be, is it worth being grateful? Is it good enough? What I was giving, the cards I was dealt, are they good enough? Because if not, I'm not going to be grateful for them. I'm labeling things outside of me as good and bad. And this is how I'm receiving them and perceiving them. And even more important than that, and I believe many of you have heard it before, but the study of epigenetics, what we're learning from there is how my behavior and my environment can actually create the change that I would like to see in the genetic activity. Now, most people think, oh, I got this disease because I was so unlucky to be born to this family that had these genes. And it's been given to me, so there's nothing I can do. I'm out of control.
Which now we know so well, and that the gene can be, this expression of the gene depends on many things. It's
many things.
Science is proving this now quite extraordinarily.
Yeah. Exactly. So what else do we know? My perception is also heavily impacting the expression of the genes. And for those of you who don't know what it means, you can have certain genes in your body. For example, I have genes, obviously, that are correlated with multiple sclerosis. Why? Because I got diagnosed with it. I need to have them. Fine. But somebody could live with these genes in their bodies their whole lives, never be diagnosed with MS. Why? Because the expression, the genes for MS would not be expressed. They would not be, imagine a light bulb, right? They would not be turned on. They would stay turned off. We have the ability to turn the genes on and off. And the signals being sent from my body to the genes are what's creating the expression or influencing the expression. So what is in charge of sending those signals to the genes, people may ask. And that's the environment within my body, the invisible environment within my body, and what is creating this environment. And that's the most important part to hear. Majority of it, a huge part of it, is my perception, how I perceive the reality that exists already outside of me. This is how,
and may I say something else? And also how I perceive myself, right? The environment, and then how I perceive the environment around, and the perception also of how I perceive myself. And this exchange, it's what happens in the body, right?
And they're usually connected too, right? Because if you ask most of the people, what do you think about yourself? Most people would not answer what they think about themselves. They will answer in the way that compare them to the world outside of them. We don't look at it as a one thing, as an individual standalone. It's all really connected.
Yeah, of course, totally connected. And also influenced by how we grew up, the society. That's why you were beginning to say about Israel and your environment, how influenced, how you related to yourself. Yeah, definitely. Very good. So now talking about the mind changing and this influence and this perception, and how people can get from this, and you know very well, from fear-based life to something else, to non-fear, to joy, or to gratitude, or to from sympathetic to parasympathetic, to just to relax, to a relaxed state of being.
Right. So that's a really good question. Thank you. I'll start with that. I don't like saying no fear or fearless, or let's be realistic. We're all human beings. Thinking that you will never have fear showing up in your life is just going to make you feel like you're failing every time it does, because it will. So let's set ourselves up to win and not to fail. You know, I always say that because it's important. I have the ability to set the tone for my journey, and it starts with what I'm looking for. And if I'm looking for something that can never exist, I'm always going to fail, and that's going to feel really bad. So I feel and think and do all the work that I teach and live by based on the fact that everything can be divided to fear-based life or fear-based mind, or compared to love-based mind and love-based life. So for me, for example, I've lived most of my life, and that's true about most people, honestly. I've lived most of my life operating in the fear-based mind that created a fear-based life. It came from, you know, I really wanted my dad to be present. I was so in love with my dad. I was admiring everything about him, but he was a person that really prioritized money and friends and fun, and kind of gave the job of raising us to my mom. And as a child, there's only so many, there's a way a kid can understand situations, right? When you're 3 or 5 or 8 years old, you
limitation.
Yeah, I'm not going to understand it the way I understand it when I'm 30. So as kids, we tend to do everything, to make everything about ourselves. So I grew up thinking, wow, I'm unlovable. If my dad, the person that's supposed to love me more than anybody else, is not choosing me, choosing to love me, choosing to play with me, choosing to talk to me when I want to talk to him, and he ended up even leaving us and moving to a different country and creating a new family. I made up about myself that I'm not good enough, that I'm a failure, that I'm broken, you know, that I'm unlovable, that I don't deserve of the love that I want. And all of these limitations make you fear life. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to have the results that I want. Having that happen, then realizing, oh, I'm attracted to women. That's really wrong. You're a woman. You're supposed to love men. And now the place that I'm broken, that I'm different, whatever. Now my whole life was designed and created based on these beliefs. And, you know, the beliefs is the foundation for our creations. We have our beliefs, that there are studies, you know, quantum physics, and, you know, even in other areas, so many studies that prove why our beliefs are creating our lives and in charge of a lot of the reality we end up having. So these were the beliefs I was operating from, beliefs about, you know, that are fear-based, and I'm not good enough, I'm broken, I'm wrong. And from there, it grew to every day living with thoughts about, I'm never going to make it happen. Constant lack, right? There is no abundance or health when there is lack. There is fear, there is stress, there is operating in a system that can create illnesses.
Yeah,
and when I'm operating from that,
this creates a closing of the door. Like I was saying before, the door opens, even to receive, the door opens because we are not in defense. But if you are in fear-based and afraid, you're going to defend yourself by closing. So opening it would open for the abundance, for the removal of lack. Right? Exactly. But fear-based is like really closing and getting harder and defending, and the body feels like that. Yeah.
Exactly. So it shows up in the body in that way, but at the same time, the choices that I make in my life, the actions that I take, my behavior, my personality, everything has to do with my belief system and my thoughts and my emotions. Everything builds on each other. Beliefs, thoughts, emotions, choices, actions. Over time, I repeat. This is my personality. This is who I am. And you can hear from so many people telling you, what? That's how I've always been. That's the person that I am. That's my personality. No, it's not. You had different experiences in your childhood. You built on that. And now you're used to being who you think you are. And you say who you are. It's who you are. But the truth is that the only thing you can create in your life when you're operating in the fear cycle, living a fear-based life, is results that are connected and can fit in this space of fear-based life with fear-based results. One of them is developing autoimmune diseases, or honestly, many other conditions too. But this is the place that I'm experienced with. These are the people that I'm helping to. And this is also the listeners here. But the truth is, everything else that is a failure or health issues or lack of money or everything can fall in this cycle. For you to understand how much important your mind is in creating your reality. And the beauty here is that at any moment when you realize that, You can shift into living a love-based mind and love-based life. And it starts by becoming aware of your operating system, becoming aware of some of you, if you'll do the work, will become aware of the events in your life when you were a child, when it happened, and some of you won't, and you don't have to. So don't let this become a limitation in your journey. A lot of people don't recall the event, yet there's so much work we can do to start creating the space to shift our beliefs, to shift the patterns that were created as an outcome of these events, and through that shift the environment within our body. And this is how we can impact and influence the genetic activity and really become the ones in charge of creating our health, our lives. And this is where miracles happen. We do not have to, follow the A, B, C of healing, which is really doesn't exist in the autoimmune world, because they say there's no cure, there's nothing you can do. There are miracles that can happen. And those miracles are just people you like to use to say magical miracles because they don't understand there is science behind it. But there is science behind everything we're talking about right now. Your beliefs directly affect your body and your level of health. And if there is one thing that you take from this today, I beg you, you beg you, believe that healing is possible for you. Believe in that. Truly work on that every day, because even this by itself, without many other things that could be in place, can start changing the way your body behaves, can start changing the inside of you on a cellular level. It's not magic. It's science. It's just that most people are not aware of that.
Yeah, and it's very good that you're here spreading the word, because it's an idea really like TED Talk. It's an idea worth spreading because it's very important and also very empowering. Most people, when we get the diagnosis of autoimmune disease, can be disempowerment because, the doctor, like you said before, you're going to have this forever. And until we begin researching and changing, it's a lack of power. So when you believe that healing is possible, it is also empowerment and is in your own hands. Not everything is not I like to say it's in your hands, but not alone. We have a group of people here to help you. To help you in steps that you can do. But I think, Talia, you're very right on the target on believing that the healing is possible, or believing the reverse of your condition is possible. It's just an idea. It's just an idea. The same way that, and I always say it's 50-50%, right? You have 50% you believe it's possible, 50% you believe it's not possible, right? It's an idea. And to change an idea is great for the best, right? Why not? Why not believing it's possible? I think it's great. So I would like to ask you this, what could be some steps that person can give to start, some steps that the person can do right away to help their body start healing?
Yeah, I would suggest to become brutally honest with yourself, because the mind-body connection has been proven so many times to be so strong. And what a lot of people are not realizing that they do is that they attack themselves every day, all day long here. And they think that if nobody hears it, it doesn't exist. But you hear it. You hear it all the time. So if you're attacking yourself, telling yourself you're not good enough, you're broken, you're stupid, they're smarter than you, they're never going to like you, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, whatever it is you tell yourself when the door is closed is what you get to be so honest with, to allow yourself to understand that none of it is the truth unless you make it so. None of it has ever been the truth, but you lived as if it was. And the truth is that somebody, intentionally or not, it doesn't even matter at this point, somebody hurt you or did something that ended up hurting you when you were young. And you had to protect yourself in some way because everybody needs and wants to feel safe all the time. And you made up these beliefs or thoughts about yourself because you thought going to help you stay safe. But at this point in your life, this plays a huge role in your body learning from your mind and saying, oh, if she or he or they are attacking themselves here, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do here. But it's not the case. And you're the one setting the tone. So become honest with every place in your life, every word, every emotion, every action. Where is it that I'm not loving myself? Where is it that I'm attacking myself? Where is it that I can add love? What will my life look like when I fully love myself? If I love myself, if I love my body, if I love the present moment more than I love the past and my attachment to it.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I think this is a great way to say that we are going to be finishing our session. Even though I could be hearing, listening to you and this conversation, we could go all day long because it's great. And I hope we meet again and the audience also and get to know you more deeply. So this was a great, great session. So I'd like to tell the audience that we have a free gift from, well, gift normally is free. From Talia. So she's offering a free masterclass, The Science and Possibilities Behind Healing Autoimmune Disease. Please click the button, wait a little bit because we're still talking here, but you have here her social media, her webpage, everything connected here, and also the button to get this masterclass, free masterclass. So please do so to connect more deeply with Talia. And before we finish, even though you just said very beautifully, I still am gonna ask you to end the session with one final word or one advice, one idea to tell people who are suffering with MS, multiple sclerosis.
Yeah, not speaking right now only for people with MS. This is true and real and right for people with all types of autoimmune conditions. Yeah. If there is one thing that you can do that will completely change everything for you, in my opinion, it would be to understand that you're so loved and that you came here to a journey of growth and ending on a soul level higher than where you entered this lifetime with. And when you see it this way, you understand that everything that was given to you, whether you titled it until now with bad, wrong, right, good, no matter what the title was until now, if you understand that everything that shows up in your life, in your body or not, shows up because it was given to you to be able to elevate, to grow, to reach what is next to you. You understand nothing is bad. Nothing was done to you. Everything was designed by you so that you can reach what's next to you. And when you look at it this way, first of all, the fear is going away because you understand that you're the one creating, you're the one in charge. And beyond that, you understand that you have the ability to learn the lesson, to be present with what the universe was trying to tell you, God, Allah, whatever it is you believe in. What did he try to tell me by giving me this diagnosis? Because the moment that I become so clear on that, the moment I allow the shift and the growth to take place, the moment I'm completely aligned with my highest purpose, my higher self, cooperate from it, this is the moment, this diagnosis, all the suffering that came with it, all the symptoms are going to go away. So by shifting into this way of thinking, I truly believe that you can create a really powerful path to healing. I hope this supports you. I think it's a really powerful place to think from and live from. And if it's not working for you today, because today you're afraid of what happened yesterday or because you woke up with symptoms, tomorrow is a new day too. And whatever you didn't manage to do today, tomorrow you have another opportunity to do. And the following day, exactly the same. And the following day, exactly the same. And every day is your chance to fully achieve the level of healing that you know you deserve and can achieve. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this wisdom and this this such an important message to the whole audience. I really appreciate your participation in the summit and your expertise here, and your mindset, your mindset, very strong mindset, which is so important in our journey to healing. So this was a great session, everyone. Thank you, Talia. And thank you for joining us today. And remember to tune back to the real story of autoimmune disease. Thank you.
My pleasure.